But I'm also so totally cool to just be on the street side right here.
And I am not. I'm adverse to people.
So I can totally not worry so much because I'm like, I will totally be like, hey, yo, let's
I'm 1,000% not going to
look at in the left side.
I'm 99% sure that was it. I'm pretty sure that was oh, yeah, 100% sure. Awesome.
We are in the hood.
Yep. 30
Welcome to my office.
I told him that when I was in high school, my
You got
friend
houses down here?
5 minutes from that.
It's like, well, I'm going to go work every day around this area.
Crystal's that right. Crystal's that right.
I like how they put fence panels around that track to hide it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell you about some other murders. I just know you want to find out about it.
Your murders?
Jacob Damon was murdered by a jealous husband by the name of William Cressman. And he had found out that his mail order bride was having an affair with him. And that he caught him at 11th and Farnham Street. Y'all know where 11th and Farnham Street is at? Almost. And he did this in a dark alley in between. He was stalking him all night. He knew who he was. And he slipped up on him in the middle of the damn night and shot him in the back. Oh, that was not good. And no one really saw it, but he bragged about it at one of the brothels. And someone ratted him out. Okay. And so, now this is in the same area where the brothels was at, right? The burnt area, Rascal Flats. Oh, okay. So Jacob's ghost has been seen on the corner of 11th and Farnham. The grieving Martha. I love Jacob. And I'm just totally completely heartbroken. I had great passion and desire for him. Well, and as it ended up being, Jacob's life was extinguished by this William Cressman. And often you might see them because they hung Cressman for his murder since someone ratted him out. They have been seen arguing, walking down Farnham Street, and especially late nights. And they said, I hate you. And the other one said, I hate you too. So it was revenge that was the culprit of this whole thing. Did you know Omaha also had a serial killer? His name was Jake Bird. No, wait a minute. Hold on. He was a serial killer? How many did he kill? 13 women. Were they all in Omaha? No, they were nationwide. But they caught up with his ass here in Omaha, and he murdered him with a razor-sharp axe. They found the gruesome bodies at 10th and William Street. Y'all know where that's at? Near the railroads? 10th and Williams? And he was caught when a kidnapped woman escaped his clutches around 42nd and Grover Street. And when the police arrested him, He then led them to the other bodies that were buried in the railroad yards. So that's why if you go down near the railroad yards, you know where the passenger train people still yet travel? Well, they are certain apparitions that occur down there that will make you absolutely crazy. His ghost and the victim ghosts have been seen by the railroad workers for walking the line at the railroad tracks at nighttime. And you'll hear them moaning. Let me tell you another one. Oh, you'll love this one. Ollie Baker and Rosie Higgins. Ollie Baker and Rosie worked at the King grocery store at 10th and Farnham Street. Rosie was well liked by his owner and lived in a room above the store. Otto observed the owner take $1,600 in sales receipts and hide it in the store. He came back that night and broke into the store. And what he wanted, and he did get it, was and stole the money. But Rosie caught him, and they fought. And Otto hit him with a axe handle numerous times and crushed his skull. What he didn't realize, though, was that someone saw him. And what he did was set the store on fire to cover up the murder. Well, he was caught, he was tried and convicted within a matter of weeks, and the money was recovered. But they hung him and the gallows at 12th and Farnham Street. Their ghosts have been seen walking late night on the sidewalk between 10th and 12th Street. Moses' ghost said he was protecting his home. And Otto Baker said that, I curse your name. I hate you. There was another man that was a real nasty one. His name was the Mad Butcher of South Omaha, a.k.a. Hans Allen. Well, Hans Allen was a butcher in a small packing plant. Legend has it that he went crazy from the terrible, monotonous work in butchering animals. Oh, okay. As a lonesome, brooding alcoholic, he frequented nearby taverns in the stockyards every day, right on Q Street. I ought to know about that because my daddy was on Q Street and would now and then go to some of the bars. Well, he worked at this South Omaha packing plant, located at 23rd Street between F Street and G Street. Y'all know what that's at? Someone snitched on him when he said, I saw him working late night butchering. Isn't that illegal? They caught up with him, but it wasn't animals being butchered. He had slaughtered humans and had cut them up and wrapped them in butcher paper and string and string. He escaped before they could catch up with him, though. And the next time you look at some ground beef, though, I want you to be careful and make sure it's not looking back at you. Floating ghosts and putrid stinking smells still yet goes between those buildings. Oh, dark alleys and streets. Oh, here's my favorite one that brings it up to a modern time. Leslie Arnold. Did y'all read about Leslie Arnold?
You're not driving.
Leslie Arnold was an angry young man in 1958, and he murdered his mama and his daddy. And he buried them in the backyard with the help of his teenage girlfriend, Crystal. That location we just went past this afternoon at 6477 Poppleton Street. And let me tell you the rest of the story. His mama's name was Opal. Where am I at? Where are we at?
60th and Grover.
Okay. Opal. And Opal and Crystal hated each other. I mean, they couldn't be in the same room together. And so Leslie wanted to take her to the movies. And his daddy wasn't home. He had the other car. And he said, well, Mama, I want to take the car and take her to the movies. And her mama, who was a mean-spirited old woman, she disliked her, and the feeling was mutual. And Leslie wanted to take her. And so he went to the closet and pulled out his rifle, his daddy's rifle. He came back, and then Opal looked and said, what you going to do with that? He said, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. You put that rifle back down. And rather than putting it back down, he cocked it and shot her in the face. Not only did he shoot her once, he shot her 3 more times after that.
Good measure.
Wow. Well, his little brother wasn't home at the time. And shortly thereafter, he got the keys and he took her to the movies. Now, you know where they were at, 64th and Poppleton, right? He took her to the movies and came back. He told Crystal what he had done. So he was going to take her and wrap her up and put her in the backyard in a shallow grave. Lo and behold, guess who came in at that time? His daddy. His daddy wanted to know, well, what the hell is my wife? And they got to fighting, and he got the best of his daddy down the floor and took the rifle and shot him too. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. They escaped. They pulled him in the backyard and planted him under a bush. His little brother wasn't home, and so what ended up happening, they caught up with them the highway patrol down Highway 6 at the time. He was convicted of double homicide and went to prison. He met a fellow by the name of Jim Harding. Jim Harding, I tell you who he looked like. He looked like James Earl Ray. Do y'all remember that name? James Earl Ray was involved in the Kennedy assassination. They escaped from the Nebraska penitentiary. They climbed over a 12-foot barbed wire fence, the only escape that has ever occurred in Nebraska. They caught up with James Hardy at the West Lane bowling alley here in Omaha. But his partner got away. They found him. They thought they caught him in Chicago. Then they thought they found him in California. He got it on an ocean freighter going to Brazil. They had no expedition. From there, they lost track of him. This last spring, in April, they caught up with Leslie Arnold in Australia.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And Leslie Arnold had just died.
Oh.
And it was his son that was trying to track his father to find out about who he was. And the story came back to fingerprint. Somehow, it was Leslie Arnold. Real story. The house at 64th and Poppleton is haunted. There it is. I thank you for coming on the Haunted Cemetery tour of Ollie the Trolley. we hope to see you next year, and we'll have some better stories.